Good evening, friends. The Pharma Duos once again welcome you to the live show of Pharma Duo Talks. Today, the talks is going to be on medical writing. So, this is myself, Dr. Shanmu Sundaram, and my colleague, Dr. Satish Kumar, who is going to talk to you about all this. And we have a guest from the medical writing department. So, they'll be talking about the medical writing procedures. Now, I hand over the session to Dr. Satish Kumar to talk about medical writing and his experiences with the medical writing people. Dr. Satish.
Hello. Hello. I hope everyone is fine and safe. Nowadays, getting first job is most important one. Getting a job itself is a very difficult thing nowadays. But in that too, our first job determines a lot of things. The first job travels with you for a long time, and the impact produced by the first job is going to be a big one. Many people, even at the age of 45, 50, they change their career. It's not wrong. But at the same time, when you are determined, when you are aware of where to travel, it is better to travel in the first itself in the correct direction. So when you are doing your undergraduate or postgraduate itself, it is better to finalize and take a decision about the direction of your travel in your career. So because this helps in two ways. One is you can be better prepared for the journey. You can be better prepared for the journey. You can read more about or more focused about the area which you are going to travel, or you can learn more about that industry in which we are going to work. In that way, it will be very helpful. And the second one is you are mentally approaching the concept. You will be having a better affection towards your job. So these are the two important factors that I want to talk about the job. There is one is first you should be prepared for the job what you are actually willing to do, and second one is that mental preparation gives you a lot of affection towards your job once you get the job. So these two things are very, very important. And during your education itself, you can do a lot of things for taking this decision. So what things you can do while you are studying, when you are doing your undergraduate or postgraduate degree, you can put a platform. You can create a platform, mental platform about the job, about your career. So for example, if you are planning to work as a teacher, you can earn a lot of teaching skills. You can earn a lot of teaching skills and communication when you are doing your graduation or post-graduation. So you will be losing your stage fear. You will be better interacting with your students, all those things. So this is one example I am saying. Likewise, there are a lot of jobs. The main purpose of this talk show itself is to expose a lot of avenues available in the pharma profession. So in that direction, today we have a guest with us. She is Ms. Sharmila, and she is a medical writer. She is working in a company, medical writing, as a medical writing specialist. So I hope she will be talking with you shortly. So I request Dr. Shanmu Sundaram to interact with her and get more details about her, so the audience will be very familiar with her. Thank you.
Okay, good evening, Dr. Satish, and it's a pleasure to invite our guest, Mrs. Sharmila Banu from Medical Writing Department. Actually, sorry, she's a miss, I think. She's not married. So, actually, she's an alumni of Wales. She done a B.Pharm from 2010 to 2014 in Wales, and she has written a Tamil Nadu entrance exam, and she got selected for M.Pharm in pharmacology in Madras Medical College. There also he completed a degree, and after that, for the past 3 to 4 years, she is working in Acidus Laboratories as a medical writer. Actually, she was a B.Pharm gold medalist and a topper in class in B.Pharm, and she was in Wales College of Pharmacy. Now I'll request Ms. Sharmila Banu to say a few words, self-introduction about ourselves, then we'll go into details about the medical writing.
So thank you so much, sir, for this great introduction about me. And as I said, myself, I'm Sharmila, and I've finished my MPharm in the stream of pharmacology. Now I'm working as a clinical research associate in Azidus Laboratories Limited.
So, how was your in 2010? How did you start your BPharm career?
Actually, my journey in Wales University is very memorable for me, sir. Why? Because I am from 2010 to 2014 batch, and in 2010 I joined my degree, that is a Bachelor of Pharmacy degree in Wales University. So without knowing much background about the pharma field, so after entering into the college only, I came to know about the importance of this course. So lots and lots of memorable things are there for me in Wales University. Particularly, there are many favorable places for me in Wales, particularly all the labs, and the second one is the library for me. Still, I remember Dr. Satish sir, who is the HOD of Pharmaceutics Department, took our batch I think hardly in the second year. I think so. He took our batch to the industrial lab. So it was like a mini industrial tour for us. So that thing I can't forget in my life. Then coming to library, actually, as per the rules of Wales, a student can lend only 2 books in their ID cards. So only 2 books are allowed to for the students. But whereas for professors, they can lend up to 5 books. So at the time and all, I used to lend ID card from the all the professors so that I can take more books from the library and all. So all these things and all, I can't forget at all. And when I was stepping into the third year, I was asked to present an oral presentation in front of the audience. That was the first inter-college event which is conducted in our college. So that time I was very much afraid of presenting a presentation in front of many audiences. So that time, Dr. Sendil Nathan sir, under his guidance, I was about to give presentation. So under his guidance only, I was giving presentation. He motivated me in such a way that because that topic, targeted drug delivery system, is a very hard topic for me because I was hardly stepping into only the third year of that degree. So I was very much afraid of giving this presentation. Only the sir motivated me in such a way that I gave that presentation, and I also won a second prize in that. By competing with all the postgraduate students and also from the students from other colleges. And in third year and fourth year, I stood as a topper in my class, so that Wales University have provided me a scholarship. Even though I paid the fees, they have refunded me 50% of that fees as a scholarship for me. So that was very much useful. So I would say that I'm a proud student of Vistas, and Wales College of Pharmacy only have built up strong concrete for me so that I can build up my area more and more.
Okay, then how it was initially you want to continue your higher studies or you wanted to go to job?
Actually, initially in the month of May 2014, I completed my undergraduation. So at that time, I had a thought of joining into a job. But my mother was very particular that she must continue her master's degree. So without any uh, doing any master degree, she cannot survive in this field like that. She had a thought, so she was very particular about me that I must do a master degree. So then I started preparing for my entrance exam. So first I gave my entrance exam in Sri Ramchandra Medical Research Institute, and I also stood third rank in that. So I was preparing myself that okay, I will join there in pharmacology department. But at that time, I had a contact with one of my senior research scholar, who is Dr. Nagarjuna, and he is currently working as a professor in university in abroad. He gave me idea. So why are you again going and joining in again in private college? Why can't you just go and try yourself to be join in any prestigious institutions like Madras Medical College or any Madras Medical College. At that time, he also said that one of my senior also joined pharmaceuticals department in MMC. So that time I had a thought, okay, why can't I just try giving a entrance exam, that is All India Tamil Nadu PG Medical Entrance Examination. But in Wales University, our academic pattern is semester pattern. So I finished my undergraduation in the month of May itself, whereas all other students who are doing their undergraduation in non-sem pattern will complete their course only by the month of September or October. So, but I completed earlier itself. In the month of May itself, I completed my undergraduation degree. So I had a span of 9 months. To join into to give entrance for the Tamil Nadu PG medical entrance examination, because every year it will be conducted around the month of April or May only. So I had approximately span of 9 months. So I thought, okay, we should not waste this 9 months of span. So we should use it in a useful way. So I joined as a trainee clinical pharmacist in Apollo Cancer Specialty Hospital, which is in Tenambet. So there, that hospital is particularly for cancer patients. So there I came to learn about more drugs, branded drugs I came to learn over there. Then in the month of February, I resigned my job, and March and April completely I gave myself in preparing for the entrance examination. So in the month of May, I appeared for the Tamil Nadu PG medical entrance examination, and result was published in the month of June. And I stood ninth. I got ninth rank among all the students. And then I went for counseling. And in counseling also, I had a toss of suitings, either pharmaceutics or pharmacology. But from initial onwards, I have more interest towards the preclinical studies and trials conducted in human or clinical trial like that. So then I chose pharmacology as my mainstream in my master degree. So.
Okay, it was a very good journey from B.Pharm to M.Pharm, and it was very nice in listening to that.
But
Now,
I should take this opportunity to say that this Tamil Nadu PG medical entrance examination do not have much awareness for the private students. Why? Because in our batch, only 6 to 7 students were from the private colleges, from the other colleges, and rest of all them were from either Madurai Medical College or MMC only. So I should take this platform as opportunity to create awareness that every year in the month of May or April, the government will conduct PG medical entrance examination. Please do participate. Please do give entrance exam. Please register yourself in this entrance exam. And because through this entrance examination, if you're joining college, means you will also get a stipend. So I also got a stipend for the period of 2 years till the completion of the course of my studies, sir.
Yeah, here I want to mention a point that not only Tamil Nadu PG entrance exam, after B.Pharm, every student can take up a GPAT exam nowadays, that is Graduate Pharmacy Aptitude Test, by which they can get qualified. And this GPAT test, not only they need to go and if they get qualified, it is not only they have to go and study in a government college. In private college institutions also, they will get a quota and seats. For example, one of our student has done it last year. She has qualified in GPAT, and she has got a Shiba, name is Shiba Rani. What she has done is she got qualified in GPAT, and she joined back in Wales itself in Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis, and now she is getting a government scholarship for nearly 12,500 rupees every month. So by GPAT also they can get qualified, and they can get scholarship, and the scholarship is actually now the government also has increased, I think. So it will be nearly the 12,000 to 14,000 rupees they are going to get. And in our college itself, there are 1 or 2 students getting those type of scholarships after getting the GPAT. So now it's your journey. You can continue. That is a medical writing journey with Dr. Satish. So I invite Dr. Satish to speak to you about the medical journey.
Okay, Sharmila. Now I like to discuss with you about how you had a plan to join this medical writing, because many students do not prefer to join this medical writing because I think that they feel that it is one among the toughest one. Is it so? What is your opinion, and how you selected this medical writing as a profession? What is the basic thing for that?
Yes, sir. Actually, after finishing my M.Pharm, I joined in this concern, that is Agilus Laboratories, in the year of 2017. Initially, I had no idea what is the medical writing field actually is. But I joined there, and but I already got some idea that clinical research is a booming field right now. So I had an idea of joining into the clinical research organization, and more or less it is equal to pharmacology courses because it is related to pharmacology also, clinical research. So where can I can deal with human participants. So our concern is mainly working on bioavailability and bioequivalent studies. So in that way, I chose this field for me.
So from your answer, I can understand that two things are there. One is, as this field is related to pharmacology, you selected it. And next one is, you are very much interested with the preclinical studies and other related things. So you had selected this. So these two are the main reasons for selecting medical writing as a profession. Okay, can you explain about what is the normal job? What sort of work you have to do when you select medical writing as a job?
So if you choose this medical writing as your profession, you will be indulged in many activities from the start of a clinical research to the conclusion of a research. So you will be involved in making many documents, all the study related documents. You will be involved in preparing all the study related documents. So myself, I involved actually initially after joining in the company, I was allowed to participate in each and every phase of the clinical research. Start from compiling the study master files or preparing any documents, preparing periodic safety reports, and dosing the subject also is one of my job. JD. And later, I was particularly involved in making clinical study concepts, study design, making study designs, and clinical study protocol, and also clinical study report.
Okay, Shamla, how was this job actually after for 3-4 years of completion of the job? Is there any possibility of getting a promotion, or how the career perspectives will be there in this medical writing?
So initially, I joined as a clinical research associate, sir. Then, based on your experience, you may promote to senior clinical research associate, and then senior medical writer, and then manager. So like that, your hierarchy will be decided based on your experience, sir.
Okay, what will be taken as a merit? What will be taken as a merit for promotion? What will be considered your previous time of experience, duration of experience, or your performance? What will lead to the next level eventually?
I would say performance and understanding of the study concepts, sir, and how you make the study design. So all these things will be taken into consideration for process of promotion, sir.
Okay. So again, one question. This is a basic question because when I interact with the students, basically they say that some jobs, specifically like medical writing or regulatory affairs, if we go for such jobs, we need a lot of English skill. English reading and writing skills are required. And if you are not good at communication, you could not able to shine in that particular field. Is it so? Is it really like that? How do you practically experience? You say about that?
No, sir. But in my point of view, I would say, writing skill is needed, but it is not. It is not a rule that you must have a good comprehension or good grammatical skill or nothing like that and all. If you can convert a scientific data into a documentation, then you can apt for this job, sir.
So
if you can write scientific things very nicely, you can opt for this job.
So shall I interpret your answer like that? If you have 80% of subject knowledge and 20% of English skill, that is sufficient, good enough. Is it okay for you?
Yes,
is my answer correct? Okay,
yes,
good.
Sir.
And now, when a student is planning, or after seeing your interview, if a student is planning to enter into medical writing job, what should be his preparation, her preparation, how that student should prepare for the interview to get a job in medical writing area?
The basic knowledge about this pharma background or any other science background is sufficient to enter into this field, sir. So because any person with any other English degree or associated life science course can also enter into this field, but the scope for students with a pharma background or scientific background have more chance to get into this field. So I would like to share my type of interview questions. So since our company is related to bioavailability and bioequivalent studies, so when I faced my interview, I was supposed to ask, so what is bioavailability? What is bioequivalence? So these are the simple basics questions only they will ask, sir.
Okay, so I understand that the subject knowledge which is related to your studies, academics, is sufficient enough. And always when you go for an interview to a company, we should understand about the background of that company very much. That will be very helpful for any. This is not only for medical writing, for any interview. It's general concept that we should understand the background of that company in which you are going to attend the interview. This is a common I think for any interview it is essential. And specifically, as Sharmila told, you should be having some sort of preparation in preclinical, clinical trials, and as well as the regulatory aspects. You can read a little more, and you can get a good support, and it will give more confidence in preparing and attending the interview. Am I correct, Sharmila?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sharmila. It's time to talk to Dr. Shanmugasundaram. He's back here.
So I think now, Sharmila, you can give your presentation so that the viewers can be knowing what exactly you are talking about. Then again, we'll get back and we'll share your work experience and other things. So I'll share the screen so you can start presenting your.
So, okay, sir, let me go into the presentation. So once again, good evening, friends. Today we'll be seeing about the basics of medical writing and what are all the career opportunities you can avail in this field of medical writing. So the information from this presentation will be more useful for people who are already into the field of clinical research or who inspired to get into this field of clinical research, or any people who are related to any other medical related activities. So before going into the presentation, I would like to tell what actually the medical writing is. So we may come across this word medical writer here and there everywhere, and we may even see in some profiles of some people who call themselves as a medical writer. But what actually a medical writing is? So the definition of medical writing is, it is the scientific documentation of a data that should be very clear, should be concise, complete, and in a compelling manner. Usually, more pharma companies and clinical research organizations do conduct clinical research activities on patients and healthy subjects. But all these research-related activities must be penned down or written down by a specialized person called a medical writer. It should be penned down or written down in a specified format. Like for say example, it can be a pharma journal, or it can be a article, or even it can be a clinical study report. So for all these purposes, pharma companies and clinical research organizations do hire medical writers for creation of these documentations. Next slide, sir. So coming to medical writing, the medical writing can be majorly divided into two types. So one is the scientific writing, the other one is marketing writing. So coming to scientific writing, so it is a technical form of writing or communication of your scientific ideas to other person who are from more or less, or the other person will be also from your same field. But whereas in case of marketing writing, so it is the communication of ideas to a general audience or general public. So more or less the people want from the other person who is reviewing or who is reading will not from the same field. Whereas in scientific writing, both the document will be read and written by the person who are from the same field. So as we all from the scientific background, that is pharma background, we will more focus on the scientific medical writing. So what the scientific medical writing is actually scientific medical writing is a very booming field right now, because many people who finish their masters or undergraduations are look upping their career in this scientific writing only. So again, the scientific writing is again can be classified as a regulatory medical writing and educational medical writing, or it also called as general medical writing. So coming to regulatory medical writing, so next sir. So coming to regulatory medical writing, so any document that you are creating or you are generating any document only for the purpose of getting approval from the regulatory authorities. So all these documents will come under regulatory medical writing. For example, each and every country will follow their own regulatory authorities. For example, for India, the regulatory authority is DCGI, that is Drug Control General of India. For European countries, EMA, that is European Medicine Agency, is the regulatory authority for the European countries. When come to America, US, this US FDA, that is United States Food and Drug Administration, is the regulatory authority for America. So each and every country will have their own regulatory agencies and authorities to review and approve the process. So all the documents that are created for the purpose of submission comes under the regulatory medical writing. So coming to educational medical writing or general medical writing, so these are the writing documents about it can be a drug, it can be any medical devices or biologicals, only for the purpose of general audience or to a specific audience. Say for example, in case of specific audience means healthcare professionals, physicians, doctors, and also technicians. So for this purpose means then it is called as educational medical writing or general medical writing. So coming to regulatory medical writing, as I said earlier, all the documents which are prepared for the purpose of approval from the regulatory agencies or regulatory authorities comes under regulatory medical writing. See, regulatory medical writing includes all the documents from the start of the conduct of a clinical research to the conclusion of a research. So comes under all the under the regulatory medical writing. So one by one, we will see what are the few I have jotted down very few documents which comes under medical writing. So the first one is study protocol. I would say study protocol is the heart of the clinical research, because you cannot initiate a study without having a concrete proper protocol, because you cannot conduct a clinical research or say any other research without a proper procedure. You have to conduct a clinical research in a specified manner, because all the regulatory authorities have can intervene in every phase of the study. So then, so that the clinical research should be conducted in a way such that it should be conducted in a very specified manner. See, all the details about the clinical study should be given in the study protocol. Say, for example, you cannot miss out any information regarding the study in the clinical protocol. The study protocol is nothing but it is the procedure which are going to be followed while conducting a clinical research. For example, you should give information about detailed description about the drug, that is investigation product in which the study is being conducted, and how the study is going to be conducted, and which population the study is going to be conducted. Either it is either only male subjects are included, or any female subjects are included, or any particular diseased patients are included in the study. Then what is the design of the study, whether it is an open label one or a double blinded study. That and all should be given in this study protocol. And moreover, we have to conduct the study only in compliance with the study protocol. So once we preparing of study protocol, it should be submitted to the regulatory agency. For example, if you are conducting a clinical research in India means, then you have to submit your study protocol to DCGI, which is Drug Control General of India. Then the person in that regulatory agency will review the study protocol completely. Then they may approve the protocol if they worth feeling of approval. Uh, Otherwise, they may even disapprove a protocol also. So protocol is very important for initiating the study. Only after getting the approval from the regulatory agency, you can initiate the clinical study process. Then coming to clinical study report, after completion of your clinical research, you need to submit a detailed clinical study report to the regulatory authorities, or to which regulatory submission you are going to submit your clinical study report. The actually clinical study report should be the 100% reflection of your what you have conducted in the clinical research activity. It should be 100% reflection, because the protocol will say only how to conduct a study, but while implementing the protocol only, we may face many deviations. We may face even adverse events reported by the patients or subjects. Here, subject refers to the human volunteers who participate in the study. Okay, so we may face many deviations. All these deviations should be captured in the clinical study report. Then again, this clinical study, each and every regulatory authority has its own format and has its own format for submitting the clinical study report. And moreover, the ICH, which is International Council on Harmonization, have set up some very stringent guidelines in making study protocols and clinical study reports. I would say that you must have a sound knowledge on these regulatory guidelines and all the ICH guidelines before preparing any protocol or clinical study reports. So in case of study protocols, ICH E6 guidelines you must follow for preparing a study protocol, and ICH E3 guidelines you have to follow for preparing of a clinical study report. So in these guidelines, they have clearly mentioned what is the format you have to use and what are the sections you need to include in a protocol and a clinical study report. So you must very much aware of all these guidelines before creating or generating any documents. Then comes to investigator brochure. So I hope that you are familiar with this word investigator. If not, I will tell you in very brief manner. Actually, investigator is otherwise called as, it is the captain of the ship, because under his or her guidance or under his or supervision only, the clinical study activities will be conducted. So investigator is like the captain of the ship. So before initiating any study, the investigator must know. He must need to know the gross idea of the study. So what is the design of the study? So in which investigational product or the drug product the study is being conducted, and so what are the type of patients are included in the study, and what are the inclusion and exclusion criteria we must follow, what are the restrictions we must follow during the conduct of the study. So all this detailed information, particularly for the investigator, prepared for the investigator, is called as investigator brochure. So this investigator brochure will also be prepared by the medical writers. So many pharma companies and clinical research organizations who conduct clinical research activities do hire medical writers for the purpose of writing protocols, reports, and investigation brochure. Then comes to patient safety narrative. So these are the documents also written by the medical writers for the purpose of narrating what are the safety measures that the subject or the patient should follow during the conduct of the study. So this will be in a very brief manner. So only it will include about the information that such that what are the safety measures they should follow, and what are the study restrictions, and what are the food they should avoid during the conduct of the study. So all this information will be given in the patient safety narratives. Then comes to the informed consent document. The informed consent document is the very, very, very important document in the field of medical writing. Why? Because it is the only document where the subject or the patient provide his willingness to participate in the study. So as the name itself indicates, informed consent, that the patient and the subject should be clearly informed about the study. So it is the only document where the patient sign the document and provide his willingness to participate in the study. As per 21 CFR Part 11, it is completely unethical to force a person to participate in the clinical research or any type of research related activities. You cannot force a person to participate in a clinical research activity. It should be completely voluntarily. So in this informed consent document, you need to give information about what are the adverse effect you can expect during the conduct of the study, and compensation amount, what will the compensation about you will be paid if you participate in the study, and how many visits are there at scheduled, what are the scheduled visits we have to come for the facility, and all these things will be provided in the informed consent document. Since the subject or the participant is signing the document, this informed consent document should be in the language. I mean, should be in the language of his own mother tongue. For example, if the participant is coming from Andhra, then his mother tongue would be Telugu. So then, this informed consent form should be in his own language, that is in Telugu. But medical writers do not worry, because all these documents will be prepared only in English. Then they will be sent to the official translators for the purpose of translation. So you did not worry about the knowing about different many languages and all. So mainly it will be prepared only in English language. Then it will be sent to the official translator for the purpose of translation. Then coming to pharmacovigilance document. Actually, this document is created and generated only if the drug that enters into the market. So after entering into the market only, so pharmacovigilance document will be created or generated. It can either be an aggregated report, or it can be also a periodic safety report of that particular drug. Suppose if new drug is being introduced in the market, means you need to submit a safety report for that particular drug. For example, this pharmacovigilance document mainly contains details such as about the complete details of the drug, and what is the adverse event reported by the patients. What are the after the drug entry into the market? So what are the adverse event encountered, and whether the adverse event encountered is an expected one or the unexpected one. What is the occurrence of AE? So all these details will be captured in the pharmacovigilance document. For example, it is must. You need to submit a periodic safety report for every 6 months. You need to submit a periodic safety report for every 6 months for a drug that is introduced in the market, which is less than of 2 years. Then after completion of the 2 years of the drug into the market, then you have to prepare an annual safety report for that particular drug. So every year you need to submit an annual safety report for the particular drug to the regulatory authorities and agencies. Then comes to standard operating procedures. Each and every organization will have their own SOPs, that is standard operating procedures. In each and every organization will have their own SOPs. Mostly these SOP concepts will abide by the regulatory guidelines only. I will tell you with one example that how important that these standard operating procedures are. For example, if an auditor comes for inspection, and this inspector will ask you why this particular procedure was not followed in your company, then you may tell that, sir, this particular procedure is not in our SOP, sir. We will revise our SOP and we will follow it, sir. Like that, you can say. And this type of justification is also acceptable by the regulatory authorities itself. So from this, you can understand that how much important that the standard operating procedures are. Next slide, sir. So next come to educational medical writing. So educational medical writing, as I already said, can be also called as general medical writing. It includes documents such as monographs. Even pharmacopoeias have monographs. So pharmaceutical companies do hire medical writers for this position also. then writing of training materials for the purpose of people who are involved in research, and then prescribing information. So, prescribing information is nothing but it is a patient leaflet. You may have seen a small bit paper coming along the drug product, which mainly have the information about how to take the drug. So, what is the storage condition of the drug, and what are the side effects it may cause to you? So, all these informations will be given in the patient leaflet that comes along with the drug product. So these documents are also prepared only by the medical writer. Then coming to manuscripts, preparation of publications or journals. So in all these also medical writers are involved in this process. Next slide, sir. So coming to skills of medical writing. So I would like to tell that what are the basic skills required to become a medical writer. So the first one is attention to detail. As I already said that you cannot miss any information in the study protocol or say clinical study report, even in case of your ignorance. You cannot miss out any information. For example, I would say that if a particular drug in which the study is being conducted or investigation product in which study is being conducted has a ability to cause cancer as a side effect, but you miss this information to put in the study protocol, then just imagine that what will be the consequences. So attention to detail is very important skill to become a medical writer. Then coming to excellent writing skills. I won't say that you should have a very good comprehension or very good grammatical skill. I won't say that you should have all these skills, but if you are able to write the scientific things nicely, then you can apt for this medical writing field. Then coming to organization skills. So while making study protocols or clinical study reports, there are lots and lots of information to be captured. Particularly in the study protocol or making study designs or clinical study report, there are lots and lots of information to be captured. So extensive clinical study reports may be prepared, or extensive study protocols may be prepared, but you cannot miss out any information even in case of your ignorance, as I said earlier. So you have to be very organized in your work. Then last but not least, the scientific skills. So here the scientific skills, here only you will differ from other people who possess only a degree without a science background. So scientific skill is very, very important. You should have sound knowledge about the scientific concepts, scientific ideas, and also scientific terminologies. So these are the 4 skills that you must possess to become a medical writer. So one more skill I can also add in this, that is called interpersonal skills, because medical writer will not directly involve in the conduct of research. Only the operational team will involve in the conduct of the medical research. So by building a good interpersonal skill, that is making a good contact with the operational team, because you need to collect data what is actually happened during the conduct of research, then only you can initiate a clinical study report. So apart from these 4 skills, you must also possess interpersonal skill. Then coming to the qualifications required, as I already said in the previous slide, that you must have a scientific skill, that is knowledge about the scientific terminologies. So you should have the knowledge of understanding the medical concepts, scientific data, how to interpret the scientific data, everything you should have. These are the most important one for becoming a medical writer. Then coming to the academic qualifications, a degree to paramedical science, that is B Pharmacy or M.Pharm in any other stream. It can be a pharmacology, it can be a pharmaceutics or pharmacy practice. In any other stream will be good to enter into this field, and degree in any other medical sciences, and any other degree that is associated with life sciences course can also be an academic qualification to enter into this field. or any persons who possess only a degree in English language can also enter into this field, but it would be more effective if they fetch any training certificate or informal training or any formal training regarding medical writing. It would be more added qualification to enter into this field. So in this last, in the last thing I have given, so what are the qualifications that can enter into the field of medical writing is medicine. Medicine means all the non-clinical people. Like MD means there will be two departments, clinical department and non-clinical department. So who have pursued the MD in non-clinical aspects can enter into this field. So they may be given position like principal investigator and reviewing of study protocol and a clinical study report. And again, pharma background has high scope in this field, M.Pharm and B.Pharm, and any other degree associated with life sciences can also enter into this field. So, next slide. So coming to level of education, I would say advanced knowledge is preferred everywhere. So you can agree with this point, I hope, because advanced knowledge is preferred everywhere. So this is the survey which was taken in the year 2010 by American Medical Writer Association. So from this graph, it is evident that the 37.1% of people who are the medical writers who possess doctorate or postdoctorate degrees, and 30.7% are from who possess master's degrees, and 21.4% who possess bachelor degree. So this is the level of education. If you are a master's means, I would say very good. You can opt for this field of medical writing. Otherwise, you can add your qualification by joining any online courses. Many institutions and online courses are available for this field of medical writing. So you can also fetch some training certificates from these institutes and also can join into this field of medical writing. Next slide, sir. So we have seen what is actually medical writing is and what are its types, and we have seen about regulatory medical writing and general medical writing. So coming to this, I would like to say, so what are your primary employers, or what are the fields you can look up for your career or job? So from this graph, it is evident that 35% of jobs are given by the pharmaceutical companies, because many pharmaceutical companies do conduct clinical research activities, do conduct clinical trials. So these pharmaceutical companies will hire medical writers because they need to prepare study protocol, they need to prepare informed consent document, they need to prepare a clinical study report for the process of submission for approval from the regulatory agencies. So 35% of job is provided by the pharmaceutical companies and also some contract research organizations. Here, contract research organizations are the one which conduct clinical research activities for a pharma company in tie-up. For example, our company is a contract research organization, and we also do our own formulations and do study, but we are also doing studies for other pharma companies too. We do clinical research activities for Abbott, Dr. Reddy's, so Aiva Pharma from Singapore. For all these companies and all, we are doing clinical research in our organization. Then coming to healthcare, and healthcare also you can enter as a medical writer, but I would say the demand is very less. So the demand of medical writer is more in clinical research organization and a pharmaceutical companies. Next slide, sir. So in a conclusion, I would say the medical science is both a science and an art, because it requires understanding of both the scientific concepts, scientific data, because you need to interpret your statistical data, you need to interpret your scientific data. So science knowledge is must, and that aptitude of writing is also must. So I would say it is a blending of both science and art. So in addition to this, a thorough knowledge of different types of regulatory agencies is must, because you're not preparing a regulatory document, not only to a particular regulatory authorities. It may be, as I given as example, it may be US FDA, ISP, or EMA, or ANVISA. So ANVISA is a regulatory authority for Brazil. So each and every regulatory authority has its own guidelines and own requirements. So you have to prepare all these documents per the regulatory guidance and the requirement. And the demand of medical writing is growing steadily over the years, and it is a very booming field right now. And the pharma and healthcare companies offer a number of jobs. As I already said, there are a number of opportunities in the field of medical writing. Thank you.
Very good, Sharmila. We had given an overall coverage about starting from what is medical writing to which company is the leading one in this field. So I think that the audience will have a very clear idea about the concept of getting this job and what it is about, and what are the skills required for getting this job. All those things, they might have been very clear. So over to Dr. Shanmugasundaram for more information.
So initially, when you went into after the interview, when you got selected, after that, initially when you started your job, what type of training the company has given you?
When it comes to training, after getting into the job, in each and every organization, we have to study their standard operating procedures, sir. So we have to, for each and every department, they have a particular standard operating procedures. We must study the standard operating procedures, and there will be a written test, like MCQs will be given. Then you have to pass that. After finishing of all the standard operating procedures, then again one round of interview will be conducted. Whether you have understand all the knowledge about what is the procedure we are following. All this will be again will be asked in the another round of interview. Then only then training certificate will be provided by the company. Then only you will be involved in the activities, that the actual activities. Then only you will be involved.
So during your presentation, it was a very excellent presentation. Actually, during your presentation, you're talking about different types of medical writing, right? So, as a person, suppose you are a medical writer, you are writing all these types of writing, or you are concerned only to one particular area of writing?
I'm concerned only for regulatory medical writing, sir. I'm involved in preparation of study protocols, clinical study reports, informed consent documents, patient brochures. So all the documents which are listed in the regulatory medical writing, I'm involved in preparing all these documents, sir.
So this option, the candidate can select, or the employer will give you, they will select the option for the candidate. Which type of writing you have to be in?
I would say because scientific medical writing is a booming field right now, sir. So I would say, or I would advise many people or students who have completed their undergraduation or post-graduation can opt himself for the career into the scientific medical writing, sir.
Okay. So as a writer, because you crossed nearly 3 to 4 years of experience in this field, as a writer, how many writings you have completed by
now? Actually, I don't have a count for that, but I can say particularly 2 reports. I've written clinical study report for ethacrenic acid, which is a loop diuretic, and the one more is trimetrin. So these both reports were approved by the FDA. I have prepared this clinical study report for FDA regulatory, sir, for a company called Agnisho. So these both reports have been approved, and those drugs were into the market, sir. So it's a generic drug, because generic drugs is most cost effective for the public. So these drugs, which are generic drugs, are into the market, sir. So in that way, for these 2 drugs, I prepared the clinical study report, sir.
So how long it takes for a single report to be completed?
So actually, it is based upon the duration of the study. And before initiating a clinical study report, you must have all the information regarding of the conduction of the research. You need to have all the necessary information. Then only you can initiate a report. So it will take around 2 to 3 weeks to prepare a full report. Then you have to prepare a dossier for a particular regulatory authority. then it will be submitted by the pharma company to the regulatory authorities. Then it will be reviewed. Then the approval process will follow, sir.
Since now you are told that you have submitted 2 good reports to US FDA, whether your name will be reflected on the reports or only your company name will be reflected on the report?
No, sir. Actually, in clinical study report, there will be a section called declaration by the author. So, since I am the author of that clinical study report, because I should assure that all the data which I have given in the clinical study report is the 100% reflection of the study activities which is conducted in our organization. So, my name is also will be given as a declaration by the author.
So you have
So
a
I
good.
should sign it.
You'll be having very good credential that for the writer,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what are the check parameters that the US FDA follows for a report? Basic check parameters.
So actually, check parameters in the sense they will mainly check for complaints to the regulatory guideline, whether study has been conducted per the regulatory guideline or not. They will surely check for this parameter as a primary one, and next they will check for the data, because data integrity is very much important in this field, because you should give only 100% reflection of the data which is conducted in the research. You cannot give any false information. Because it is dealing with the health life. It is dealing with the human life. So you cannot give any false information. So these are the primary parameters. And moreover, whether we have followed, as I already said in the presentation, that ICH E3 guidelines, whether these guidelines has been followed in the preparation of clinical study report, whether all these sections have been included in the clinical study report. So all these will be will be as a check parameters by the regulatory authorities, sir.
So all these regulatory writings can be only submitted to US FDA or any other agencies are available for approving this?
No, sir. Our concern is also, as I already said, our concern is also a contract research organization. We do clinical study activities for other companies also. So, this report is submitted to US because that company is from Agnisho, which is in America. So they will submit their a report or any protocol to that particular agency. For example, if I'm doing any clinical study reports for European countries, means then I have to submit for EMA, European Medicine Agency. So depending upon the type of submission, we have to prepare our report process.
So initially you will be knowing to which regulatory agency you are going to submit. Yes. So each agency has their own guidelines and parameters to be followed. Yes, so same report cannot be submitted to two different bodies.
You cannot submit the same report to yes, sir.
Yes, only one report can be submitted, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so I think you answered all your queries which will be in the mind of the audience. Now I invite Dr. Satish sir to ask queries and.
Yeah, Sharmila, I am very much interested to know the work culture of this medical writing. It seems to be a very dedication is required for this work. And what about the work culture? Whether you can work very freely, the environment will be cool enough and stress-free, or it will be very tough and stringent and very strained work is there. Which sort of culture is there in your?
Also, I would say that it is not a stress job. Because if you are interested into this field, really means you will be very enjoying doing each and every activities. So I would say it is not a very stress job. It is a cool enough job only, sir.
Not specific to your company or your working employment. In general, about medical writing, it's a cool one. Is it sure?
Yes, sir.
In most of the companies
generally medical writing field is a full job only, sir. It's not a stress job actually.
Okay, one more important
enjoying doing your job.
Okay, one more important information, maybe in the minds of the audience. What will be the band of salary for the entry fee for entering into the medical writing, I think that will be appointed as associate medical editor, medical writer. What will be the initial pay and what will be the grade and revisions?
Okay, sir. Actually, it differs for every company to company. It will actually differ, and actually it is based upon the degree you possess. If it is a bachelor degree, means initially you will be paid of around 15 to 17K. You will be getting as if you finish a bachelor course, or if you are in a particular field that is you have done in any master degree, means then your salary band will be around from 20 to 25K, sir.
Okay.
For
So when you're getting promotions, it will gradually increase and it may reach very good lucrative levels. Is it or not? So I think
which I told is for freshers, sir.
Freshers, very good. Okay. So in total, how you are feeling? What is there any sort of linkage or bondage between your UG PG studies and the field you are working? Whether you feel that what you are learned into your PG and UG are very much useful in this medical writing or not?
It is very much useful, sir, because without that concrete base, I would not enter into this field, or I would not shine into this field, sir. So without that pharma background or basic concrete, that is undergraduation course, it would be more difficult for me to enter into this field. So
Great.
in that way, I must say that I'm a student of Wales University, because I did my undergraduation in Wales University only. So that is the base concrete for me. So that only I can build up my building more and more. So concrete is very strong for me, so that it was very easy for me, sir.
So it's almost 1 hour now, and it was a very good, pleasant evening talking to you about medical writing and one of Wales alumni. So you joined in 2010, and now we are in 2020, 10 years journey in pharmacy. So are you working now you are working from home for your company, or what's the situation?
Sorry,
work from home?
Actually, because of this COVID-19 pandemic situation, in medical writing, there is also there is also a choice of working from home option. So,
sir? Not only pandemic, in general also you can opt on writing from home, right?
No, sir. But if you are in operational team, means you should be in that facility for conducting the activities. Okay. But in case of medical writing, means you will be only preparing documents. So actually medical writing has also choice of working from home. So in this current pandemic COVID-19 situation, I opt for work from home.
Okay. So one personal question: since you are a topper in B.Pharm and you have done a very good PG from your Madras Medical College, so what is the idea in higher studies? Whether you want to do any PhD, because that may also help you in your medical writing field. So what is that?
Yes, I have an idea of pursuing my doctoral degree, PhD. But I have an idea of continuing my education. But yes, hope so. I will do it, sir.
Okay, you come back to Wales again, and you can register and can do it in your part time also. So,
sure, sir. Because all my favorite focus.
When you have some ideas, you should implement it immediately. That may help you in your future also. So with this note,
in presentation also, I have mentioned that advanced knowledge is preferred everywhere.
Yes. I'm asking, as a medical writer, since now your growth is good, and still you will be having a very good growth if you are able to do your PhD.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Shamla. Thank you for having you on this wonderful show. We'll meet again in some other occasion. So now it's all back to myself and Dr. Satish. So it's the Pharma Duos signing off from this evening after a very good medical writing session. So next week we'll have a different session. So it's signing off. Tata Bye see you from Dr. Shanmugam. It's final note from Dr. Satish.
Yeah, it was very interesting to talk with a medical writer, because we don't know many informations about this field. It is away from this normal industry. We interact with a lot of industry people, but we rarely get opportunities to interact with people like medical writing, medical coding, etc. So it was a wonderful opportunity for us to learn. Actually, if you want to say, it is a learning process. We understood what it is happening exactly inside the writing part, medical writing part. So you might also have felt the same. And I think that if you have a very good intellectual and very good attitude of dedication, this medical writing field is going to be a very good thing for you. So I wish everybody a happy evening, and thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.